On the road to MotoGP, this is FAB-Racing.
Ethan Sparks who leads them away from the pole position, and it will be Henry McCARTNEY alongside him in P2. Ronnie Harris on the number 66 starts in P3 with Joshua Williams in P4. Marco Holt starts in P5 on that number 58 machine with Luke FITCHETT in P6. Then it's Samuel Munson and Harry PAINE on the fourth row of the grid. Blake Wilson and Ollie SIMS round out the top 10 with Ruben BRAY, Noah GUILLERY and Hayden WIGHTMAN rounding out the grid. A nice and strong grid of riders today as we are getting ready for what should be a fantastic race to watch. I mean, Lewis, what's your expectations coming into this one?
My expectations will be an extremely close race, as we've had in the past, with some great stars of Ethan Sparks looking to defend this title once again. As we wait for all the riders to line up on the grid, this should be a cracking race for everyone to watch at home. Marco Holt there with the easily known Minion helmet, easy to recognise on the grid.
It's a very nice helmet, and of course Ethan Sparks looking to become the first ever back-to-back champion in FAB Racing history in the 70s championship. All ready, all waiting. Marshall getting ready, points the light, here we go, it's the MetroKit Mini GP70s, and the red lights are on. And they're off, it's race one and we're underway, and kind of a wheelie from Ethan Sparks there, but he manages to maintain the lead as he comes away, and it's Sparks from McCartney from Harris as they call away. Marco Holt manages to climb to P4 as well. Ethan Sparks, that could have been disastrous there, manages to hold on. It's a great start as we get motoring. Just, you can see how much faster these things are than anything else that we've seen today. Look at the pace that they are about to bring around the back of this circuit. If you're new to FAB Racing, hello and welcome. This is what it's all about.
It really is. This is fast racing, this is close racing, this is exactly what you want to see from these FAB Racing championships. As we watch them go down the back straight, you can just see the speed of them, but the camera does not do it justice as we head round to start the second lap of the race. Turn one, watching these bikes go around turn one is amazing to watch. You can just see how fast it is, but yet again the camera just doesn't do it justice. You have to be here, standing trackside, to be able to see how much confidence these kids have in these motorcycles.
I mean, as we said before the race, these are the stars tomorrow. This is the entry into the British Talent Cup right here. And Ethan Sparks leading the way. Ronnie Harris though in P2 with the fastest lap of the race so far. He'll be looking to close that gap on the 66 bike. And well, we're waiting to see how it's all going to kick off. And well, I've just been told in my ear that there might be an investigation by Racecron to jump starts. So that's something to consider from the start. Marco Holt losing places there. He's dropped up to P5. Samuel Munson gaining as well. Luke FITCHETT with the fastest lap of the race, 42.287, as they head off on their next lap. And Sparks just maintaining that lead at the moment. He's doing exactly what he needs to do, no more, no less. He's just maintaining. He's a smart race. He's a champion. He knows what he needs to do to win this championship. He knows he needs to do to dominate in this series. So he's just doing exactly that. You're just out the front, not pushing too hard, just keeping to himself, keeping the bike intact, and making sure he starts off his season with a race win.
Yeah, certainly. Ethan Sparks will be thinking, I've done it once, I can do it again. The confidence he'll be having in this, coming into this first round, will be like absolutely no other. As we see Ronnie Harris in second place, setting the fastest lap of the race with 42 dead. 2 tenths faster than Ethan Sparks that last lap, but Ethan Sparks still got a comfortable lead that he doesn't have to be too worried and start pushing, which could potentially lead to a mistake from him.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's pretty fast for this early in the race as well. Marco Holt looking for Samuel Munson, looking for moves as they come down the back end of the circuit. And well, as they head round there, we can see just riders following each other in such a synchronised fashion. Again, this is the best of the juniors in FAB. This is, where, the riders of tomorrow, where the stars of tomorrow are. And, this is where they really earn their stripes. Obviously getting onto the Mini GP50s, learning the trade of a Grand Prix bike. Now this is about, proving your worth as a rider. It's about proving that you've got what it takes to get out there, have a career in the top level of motorcycle racing. And Ethan Sparks, your reigning champion, doing exactly that. He's here because he's not old enough to be in the British Talent Cup at the moment. He does it. He won the championship and he wasn't allowed to move on. So he's back again and looking to do the double.
Yeah, Yeah, and there's certainly a chance he can do the double, but Ethan Sparks, of course, is a part of the MLAV Academy, hosted by Michael Laverty, which gave a platform for these riders to hopefully make it into the Grand Prix stage, with currently having a team in Moto 3 with Scott Ogden, a previous rider of the FAB-Racing Championship, which just shows the talent that can come from here, and that Ethan Sparks could potentially be the next Scott Ogden.
Well, potentially. I mean, many of these riders could be following in the footsteps of Scott Ogden, of Scott Redding, of many others, as they make their way up into the world of MotoGP, or maybe World Superbikes, maybe Bennett's British Superbike Championship. Of course, FAB-Racing is the official partner series to the Bennett's British Superbike Championship, and is, of course, also part of the Dorna Road to MotoGP Talent Promotion Program. But, well, these riders, as I said, these guys are going to be the stars of tomorrow. And Ethan Sparks, he's looking to make history and be the first back-to-back MiniGP FAB-Racing champion, the first two-time champion as well. So to do it back-to-back, even more impressive. But again, it's also the first race of the season. We might be getting a bit ahead of ourselves by declaring him champion just for the time being. We'll just have to wait and see how it unfolds. There is Marco Holt looking at McCARTNEY. Not quite going for McCARTNEY, but he's letting McCARTNEY know he's there. He's the vice champion of the MiniGP 50s championship last season. And well, as he's just going round trying to find a way through that number 31 machine, it's just at the moment all action stations. There will be 5 laps to go this time by as they round the final corner. It's Sparks from Ronnie Harris, whose early pace still maintaining, and well, McCartney and Holt, and these top 4, I don't know about you, Lewis, but to me it seems like they're getting closer. Yeah,
they certainly do. It seems that they've bridged the gap a lot in this past couple of laps, and Ethan Sparks being 2/10 slower than second, third, and Marco Holt with another 3/10 on the rest of them. Marco Holt showed amazing pace this race with the best lap time of a 41.7, which is less than half a second off the lap record that we see.
That's Sparks!
They're down.
Again, we saw that in qualifying. Throttle stuck open, he gets back on the same place in qualifying. Ethan Sparks goes down. It's identical to the incident in the second qualifying session. Too fast to the left-hander, rear end of the bike steps out, and down he goes. And he's done that twice now. Unbelievable as well, going down. That's the 78 of Josh Williams who's gone down. But Ethan Sparks, disaster. And that's the second time he's done it today.
Ronnie Harris is now leading this race by just 3/10 of a second. This race is absolutely anyone's guess now, with Ethan Sparks all the way down in 8th position now, so the win is definitely out of the equation for him.
Oh, what a shame there for Ethan Sparks. I mean, you can't help but feel for him, but at the same time, I think you've done exactly the same thing earlier, Ethan. You're the champion already. From last season, you shouldn't be making errors like this. I can't help but feel frustrated, but I'm sure he'll be learning from that one, especially going into tomorrow, and of course starting from the pole position again tomorrow, and on for race 3 as well. Of course, the qualifying, where you qualify is where you stop all 3 races here in FAB, so not absolute disaster for Sparks. It may seem it in this race, it may not be the start of the championship that he wanted, but there is still opportunity for him to improve into the future. But as you said, Ronnie Harris seeing this race, and well, he was looking fast all weekend long so far anyway, and now that he's got this lead, trying to hold off McCartney, trying to hold off Holt, who I think could be a bit of a dark horse as we go into the penultimate lap of the opening round of the LS2 Helmets MiniGP70 British Championship race here, the opening round of the FAB-Racing British Minibike Championship here at the Lydd kart circuit in Kent, and it's the penultimate lap of the penultimate race of the day, and well, it's very, very tight. I mean, look how close those top 3 are. Very, very wide there from McCartney on the exit of the corner. That's going to cost him coming down here, and that might open the door for Marco Holt to have a dive into the final corner.
Yeah, it might potentially open up a gap for him just to dive up the inside, but there's nothing between them. Marco Holt, Henry McCartney and Ronnie Harris all realise they can win this race with Ethan Sparks no longer being the equation. It's obviously the vice, which is also the champion of last season. Henry McCartney looking around the outside into turn 1 there. It's quite a strange way to look for a pass as we watch them just come round to the back, come round to the sweeping right-hander before the back straight, and it should be a fantastic finish for Ronnie Harris if we can just keep this pace momentum upwards. Just a 1/10 of a second gap. He's going to want to keep the pace up, keep McCARTNEY behind and keep Holt behind to claim the first victory of the season. As we have one more turn left, Harris goes round, Harris goes up the inside, Harris is leading the race, Harris comes out to the final straight, Harris takes the checker flag to win the race, setting the fastest lap of the race with a 41.6. That is so close to the lap record around the circuit, just 3/10 off the lap record. It just shows the absolute pace that all these riders were putting into that last lap, with the top two both being in the 41.6s.
Indeed, great stuff there from Ronnie Harris, and again, to only be 3/10 off the lap record when the track's still got plenty of evolutions going through tomorrow. The track's probably cooling off as well, it's not that warm anyway. Yeah, great pace there from Ronnie Harris, takes a fantastic win. There he is, Ronnie Harris, taking the victory by just under 2/10 of a second from Henrik McCartney in P2. Marco Holt celebrating he crossed the line there, a great finish in P3 for him with Luke FITCHETT in P4. Samuel MUNSON was 5th, Harry Paine was 6th, and Blake Wilson was 7th. Ethan Sparks, you've got to feel for him, but a small mistake with big consequences, down in 8th place after leading. Then it's Ruben BRAY and Ollie SIMS rounding up the top 10, and then Noah GUILLERY and Joshua Williams just aside as 12th, with Hayden WIGHTMAN unfortunately not finishing this event. Now it's time for the main event. It's time for the LS2 Helmets MiniGP70 British Championship, the premier class here at FAB-Racing. And well, yesterday, a very tightly contested affair. Ronnie Harris ended up coming home with the victory. Henrik McCartney in a close second, with Marco Holt not far behind either. This is, again, this series, this bit, I know I said earlier, the MiniGP is kind of the way into the British Talent Cup. This is essentially your application form to the British Talent Cup, which if you perform well here, is not long before you'll be finding yourself, on a bigger stage. Yeah, it certainly is. This is the final step, usually, before the riders head to the British Talent Cup. They're extremely fast bikes, capable of up to 100 mile/hour, which at the age that some of these kids are at, it's extremely fast for them. They're extremely fun to ride, and they bring on the riders a lot. As we've seen other championships, which they use different style of bikes, these MiniGP70s make the riders properly learn the ropes of racing using the two-stroke engine, which really lets them learn to keep corner speed and their revs up. Absolutely. You remember yesterday Ethan Sparks crashing out of qualifying, crashing out of the lead of the race as well. I know he's not been happy with his front forks so far this year. I know he's been struggling with them a bit, so maybe just unhappy on the bike, feeling a bit unsettled, especially in the high-speed corners with the essentially two identical incidents, same place on the circuit that he went off. Same type of incident, of course, he's back on the bike and, everything's all okay, but just do keep that in mind. He is unhappy with his front shots to go out on their sighting lap. He will be starting with a bobble today, Ethan Sparks. He had set his best lap before he had his incident in qualifying, but it's, also like that. It's unfortunate that Sparks having those problems, but it's, at the same time, it's, got to be happy on the bike, haven't you? Yes, certainly. Ethan Sparks obviously winning the championship last season, and so far has had quite a disastrous first round. He's going to be wanting to just get to the end of the race first off and try to get some results out of it, as any more DNFs may just knock his confidence and might affect him going into the second round of the championship. Of course, Ethan Sparks is the reigning champion here in the MiniGP70. He's obviously actually not old enough to go into the British Talent Cup since they upped the age limit, so he's stuck around looking to become the first ever double MiniGP champion in FAB-Racing, first back-to-back MiniGP champion in FAB-Racing on that note as well, which would be a great achievement. And of course, coming in as reigning champion, you've got to be favourite, but he's got to finish a race on the top step first before he can really stake his claim. There's Marco Holt sliding in to P3 as they complete their sighting lap. A field of 13 riders here today, a pretty healthy grid, it must be said. Again, it's being the top category, it's for the best of the best of the riders here at FAB-Racing. Looks like we might be having a rider arriving late who'll be ordered to start at the back if they do come out of the pits on the formation lap. Again, the regulation is that if you aren't able to make the grid on the sighting lap, if you're unable to make the grid and once everyone's got to the grid and you still haven't left the pit lane on the sighting lap, you either start from the back or you start from the pit lane. But anyway, not knowing who it is that hasn't made it, Ethan Sparks starts from the pole position with Henrik McCartney, race winner yesterday, alongside him. Ronnie Harris is P3. Apologies, Ronnie was the race winner yesterday, with Joshua Williams in P4. Of course, Joshua, very experienced rider. He's been off at the Minibike Series we've got Marco Holt in P5 with Luke Fitchett in P6. Samuel Monson and Harry Payne make up the 4th row of the grid with Blake Wilson and Ollie SIMS rounding out the top 10. And there's Ruben BRAY, Noah Guillory and Hayden WIGHTMAN.
Yeah, this should be a great race. It's a healthy race. It's a healthy racing class as well, with about 13 riders in it, which is great to see so much young talent in this class, hoping to make the next step to the British Talent Cup. As we await the riders just to complete their 2 warm-up laps, to warm up their minds, their brakes and their tyres. So as soon as the race gets underway, they can go full at it and hopefully for a good result.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've been seeing today. It's very, very cold out there in Kent at the Lydd kart circuit. The track surface obviously quite cool. So it's been taking a while, even into the race, for all the tyres and the brakes to get up to temperature. So it's good to see 2 exciting laps. Well, if you're just joining us, hello and welcome. You are just in time for race 2 of the LS2 Helmets British MiniGP Championship. It's a pleasure to have you along here for the opening round of the FAB-Racing Minibike British Championships. Of course, we've had most of our race 2s. We've got this one to look forward to, and then our final race 2 before we head on to the final races of the day, the race 3s of the weekend. But everyone lined up on the grid and waiting. As we get waiting, how is Ethan Sparks going to respond to 2 incidents in 2 sessions, missing out on the win yesterday? We wait for the point up to the light board, and we wait up for the racing to get underway. And the lights come on. It's lights off, we're underway. It's a great start there from Henry McCARTNEY, but I believe that Ethan Sparks is going to maintain the lead through turn 1. Further back, a few riders changing places. As we look away, it is Ethan Sparks that leads this race from McCartney, and Marco Holt, unfortunately not the best start. He's dropped down to P5 overall, so it looks like it's going to be Ronnie Harris in P3 from Josh Williams from Marco Holt, but Ethan Sparks leads this race.
Yeah, he does. Ethan Sparks will be won a great race today. As we say, he crashed out yesterday and crashed out in qualifying at the exact same corner. So Ethan Sparks is going to want to try and get away from this race and focus on himself, but Henry McCartney is right behind him. Henry McCartney is not going to let this go easily.
No, he certainly isn't. As they round the final corner, Ethan Sparks leads the first lap, but Henry McCartney looking this way and that way. Luke Fitchett with the fastest lap of the race, of course. Luke has been performing well all weekend, but he's been super strong, and again a new lap record in the 50s early for Luke Fitchett, so he knows how to ride a Grand Prix style motorcycle around this Lydd kart circuit. Of course, the 70s a bit more powerful than the 50s, a bit faster. Let's see if Luke Fitchett can get a move on it. Of course, the lap record in the 70s is a 41.314. We're a little bit off that just yet on the first lap, but let's see how close we get once the tyres and the brakes and all that get warm. Henry McCartney still chasing down Ethan Sparks as we get moving through the field. Luke Fitchett, the big gainer so far. He's gained 2 positions up to 4th place, and we're now in the 42s. Josh Williams at 42.4 off the road.
Is that McCartney?
I believe that is McCartney off the road from P2. So Henry McCartney has a tumble, gets the bike going again, but from 2nd on the grid, the pressure on Sparks lifted. Henry McCartney's got a tour ahead of him now. Tumbling this early in the race is the opposite of what you want to do.
Yeah, it's not what you want to do in this race. This is going to let Ethan Sparks hopefully get a small gap and be able to bridge away. Ronnie Harris on the other hand will be absolutely delighted with this quick picture, looking up the inside, but he cannot make it work. Ronnie Harris, of course, part of the Vision Track Academy by Michael Laverty. It's a great academy and a great system to get young riders through.
Yeah, of course, it was great to see people in the academy in both the 50s and the 70s. We've got Archer Bryan and Ronnie Harris in that Vision Track Academy, but it is still Ethan Sparks that leads this race from Ronnie Harris. Luke Fitchett in P3, he's looking very pacey again with that lap record early today. He's going to be one to keep an eye on, and look at that Marco Holt. While these guys are stacking up against one another all the way through, he's going to get closer. He's going to be looking 9 laps remaining in race 2 of the Mini GP70s, the premier class at FAB-Racing. Bit of a wobble from Ethan Sparks again. I know he's not happy with his front forks, but I've been seeing that as he comes out of the rhino, just a little bit of a bump. The bike just catches it really weirdly, and he's just oddly upright as well on the exit of the final corner. But whatever he's doing, whatever he's suffering with, it's still working anyway. Still leading this race. 0.3 of a gap was the gap at the line last time round. Joshua Williams now fastest lap of the race of 42.4. 42.2. That is all very, very close in terms of the lap time, all roughly in those low 44s, maybe, in fact, the last lap, all the top guys, was all within the 42.4s until Joshua Williams when we got that 42.2. That is ridiculously close.
Yeah, it certainly is. Ethan Sparks, as you mentioned, is not comfortable with his motorcycle, but although he's not comfortable, he's still leading the race. It just shows off his talent. It's Luke Fitcher once again, just looking up the inside going into the final corner on Ronnie Harris with the iconic number 7 in the same style as Barry Sheet.
He is indeed. Looks like to me that Luke Fitchett gets massive drive out of that right-hander and then just isn't quite brave enough on the brakes there, but that's smart. He's just waiting for the opportunity to appear as Ronnie Harris still maintaining that second place. Marco Holt getting very close as well as they go through some laps traffic. So Sparks from Harris, from Fitchett, from Holt as they come round now with 7 laps to go here in the LS2 Helmets British Mini GP70 Championship. And again, Sparks didn't quite see it that time. There goes Luke Fitchett this time, even closer this time. Luke Fitchett surely up the inside. No, again, Luke Fitchett just doesn't quite commit. I know that he's drawing alongside, but he's clearly just biding his time. He's just waiting. He's just not quite confident enough on the brakes. But Luke Fitchett is absolutely flying at the moment. He just needs to nudge his wheel ahead into the corner and get as far over to the clean side of the circuit as he can to know that he's got the confidence to be on the brakes and be in second place on the exit of the final corner.
Yeah, Luke Fitchett is just rehearsing that move in the final corner and could potentially waiting to do it when it counts on Ronnie Harris whenever he's least expecting it. But the issue is, if they battle too much, you could let Ethan Sparks run away with his victory, which all riders do not want.
Exactly, bit of a wobble on the exit of the corner there for Luke Fitchett that I saw, but he's still in P3. But he was still drawing alongside Ronnie Harris as well. Ronnie Harris standing up quite quickly out of the corner. And while these guys are not battling, heavily putting pressure on each other, Ethan Sparks starting to gain a bit of a gap, 0.3 of a second at the line last time round. But while these guys are battling as well, look at that. Marco Holt was kind of just out the back of this pack. This pack's just grown because now you've got Josh Williams, you've got Blake Wilson catching up. That was Samuel Munson kind of having a look there as well. Harry Payne on the 11 of 42.1, fastest lap of the race as well. Still about 0.8 of a second off of the lap record round here, so the 70's not quite as quick as the 50's in terms of pure pace. In regards to the lap record, they have got, of course, about half a second up to a second faster around here. Still Ethan Sparks in the race. 4 laps to go at the line this time. And while Mark Holt's been focusing on Joshua Williams sneaking up behind, and surely he's thinking about getting involved in this lead battle now.
Yeah, Harry Payne, as you mentioned, with the fastest lap of the race. Although he's down in 8th, it just shows that all these riders are extremely fast in the Mini GP70s.
Yeah, exactly. A few wobbles out of the corners here and there. Looks like some bikes just haven't quite settled in yet, but most of them have warmed up and they're all racing, ready and raring to go. Sparks, Harris a little bit wide through the left-hander there, and that's going to open the door surely to Luke Fitchett. The second he leaves that slipstream, that hole in the air that's just punched by Ronnie Harris, it's like the bike just hits a brick wall in the air, even at these, comparatively low speeds on the kart center. These are still Grand Prix bikes. They rely so much on slipstreaming. So, he's getting the massive run out of the corner as Marco Holt there to the outside of Luke Fitchett, trying to make it work, can't make it work, but he was certainly having a go. So Luke Fitchett in that slipstream is so fast out of that corner, but just hits that brick wall of air the second he leaves the corner. And again, that's probably why he's not as confident on the brakes, because he knows he's not quite ahead enough, he's not quite alongside enough to challenge into the final corner.
Yes, certainly, although all riders are staying about the same positions, there's a lot of action going on. Marco Holt also looking up the inside of Luke Fitchett, which may pile on the pressure with Luke Fitchett forcing him to have to hurry up this move on Ronnie Harris.
Yeah, we just have to wait and see. Penultimate lap of the race here in race 2 of the LS2 Helmets GP's Mini GP70 British Championship as we're heading through that opening chicane. Marco Holt still looking for Luke Fitchett, but cannot find the gap. Luke Fitchett putting his bike everywhere he needs to do to defend, and then it's just getting a run. And look at that, we've got 6, 7, 8 riders just in tandem. Just look at that, because while these lead guys have been battling, the guys behind have just caught up, and they're just all in a line. It's ridiculous.
It certainly is. It's almost like a Moto3 race, Ross. Harry PAINE, the first rider into the 41s, with a 41.9 as we head on to the final lap of this race with the yellow and the black cross flag out.
Final lap, Joshua Williams having a look at the inside of Marco Holt there into turn 1, but decided against it again. Like you said, Moto 3 race, this is all about the slipstream, really. Just everyone following each other in tandem. One more tour. Anybody going to maybe try and poke a wheel, have a lunge, try and get the slipstream down the straight? A little bit wide there for Luke Fitchett coming through. That hairpin down the bottom of the circuit. One final section of racetrack, so there's going to be some lap traffic coming up as well through the left-hander, maybe into the final corner. Ronnie Harris wide again. There's Luke Fitchett. Luke Fitchett trying to draw on the outside. There goes Marco Holt as well. Luke Fitchett to the inside, maybe. No, it's going to be Ethan Sparks coming out of the final corner after 2 crashes in 2 sessions, 2 wins. But it is super close. Ronnie Harris just takes second place with Luke Fitchett. But 8 riders in a row were covered by less than 2 seconds. It was ridiculously close out there.
Yeah, it certainly was. That was an amazing race for Ethan Sparks. He'll be absolutely delighted with that result. Although he's had quite a disappointing weekend till now, this win will fill him with confidence for race 3.
It certainly will. A great victory there for Ethan Sparks, finally getting what he gets from that pole position. With Ronnie Harris and Luke Fitchett, it was very much again a cat and mouse, although in the end there was no overtake between them. It was a would they, won't they, the entire race long. Very enjoyable to watch, and really a great display of just different tactics. And of course, when we get to race 3, it'll all go out the window. It's all guns blazing. Ethan Sparks there, reigning champion, winning by 0.2 of a second, his first victory this season in the second race. Ronnie Harris comes home in P2 with Luke Fitchett in P3. Marco Holt was 4th with Josh Williams 5, Blake Wilson with 6, Samuel MUNSON 7th, Harry PAINE 8th, Ruben BRAY 9th, and Noah Guillory rounding up the top 10. Unfortunately, Henry McCARTNEY just missed out on that top 10 place after having a tumble early on lap 2, coming into turn 2, and off he went. And it did take quite a while getting back on the bike, getting moving again, so a big shame. But Ethan Sparks, a great victory there for him, but wow, that was super close. Go on for a couple more laps, and that race could have got very interesting. So that was race 2 of the LS2 Helmets MiniGP 70 British Championship. And of course, as with everything else, you've got our race 3s to look forward to later. It is time for race 3 for the LS2 Helmets MiniGP 70 British Championship. Of course, this being the highlight of the weekend in FAB-Racing, where we've seen 2 brilliant races already this weekend. I mean, last race, race 2, the top 8 riders nose to tail for the last 5 laps.
Yeah, it was a great race. It reminded you of a Moto3 race. It was a train of riders following each other, trying to get past each other as soon as possible. We're running very close to the lap record in race 2 there. Nothing to separate them. Ethan Sparks got a race win, which he really deserved after such a great weekend. But after some issues in both qualifying and race 1, crashing in the exact same place, he's done amazing just to get confidence in the motorcycle again and get a race victory in race 2, which he'll be hoping to repeat in race 3.
Absolutely. I know that Ethan's been struggling with his front forks this weekend, just not quite happy, and it was almost scary how identical his 2 incidents were. Coming down in exactly the same place, the bike doing exactly the same thing, him doing exactly the same thing. It's just one was in qualifying when he'd set his fast already. One was in the race as the riders head out for their sighting lap. There is Marco Holt on his 58 this time on the correct bike. Well, this is the big one to repeat that. This is the one that we've all been waiting for. The premier class here at FAB-Racing, the LS2 Helmets MiniGP 70 British Championship on these GP bikes. This series, I know I say that FAB is the gateway to the British Talent Cup, but this series specifically is the gateway to the British Talent Cup. This is where, all of the teams are looking. This is where, the riders of tomorrow in Grand Prix racing are. This is where BSB, this is where MotoGP, this is where World Superbikes is looking. They're looking at the GP70 Championship here at FAB-Racing because they know this is where the riders of tomorrow are going to be. Yeah, it certainly is. Ethan Sparks, such a great talent, won the championship last year. He's back in the MiniGP 70s this year with the British Talent Cup age limit obviously going up. So he's here for another year. As we see him there line up into pole position. Ronnie Harris has had a great weekend so far with 1 race win. He'll be hoping to do it again this weekend. And of course, Ronnie Harris as well on the Vision Track Academy alongside riders like Archie O'Brien in the 50s. It's great to see, these riders being signed up onto the MLAV Vision Track Academy. A big academy to be on for such young riders as well. as we get ready for the warm lap. So it's great to, even before they've got stuff like the British Talent Cup, they're being recognised for all their talents, being put in academies, getting prepared to, start having a motorcycle racing career. Ethan Sparks goes from the pole position, Henry McCARTNEY alongside him with Ronnie Harris in P3 and Joshua Williams in P4. It's Marco Holt in P5 with Luke Fitchett P6, Samuel MUNSON in 7th with Harry Payne 8th, Blake Wilson and Ollie SIMS round out the top 10. Ruben BRAY and Noah Guillory make the 6th row grid, and Hayden WIGHTMAN concludes the grid of 13 bikes as we get ready for the high point of the weekend. This is what it's all about here at FAB Racing. All of the eyes in the paddock are now turned to this race. As they're down the back stretch, well, again, Lewis, nose to tail in the last race. Do you think we're going to get much similar in this one?
Yes, certainly do. Marco Holt, for main examples, just been out in the MiniGP 50s. He's set a new lap record on the MiniGP 50, so he'll be feeling great. He'll be wanting to replicate somewhat of the same in the MiniGP 70s.
Exactly, we'll just have to wait and see all of the riders coming into place on the grid, and now we wait to get the race 3, the final race of the weekend, underway for these MiniGP 70 riders on their Metro Kit bikes. And this is the one that we've all been waiting for. This is the high point of the weekend, the pinnacle of the FAB Racing Championship here. Race 3 is the one as we wait for the marshal, everyone to be ready. One of the riders just getting checked by the marshals, making sure everything is okay as we get ready. Getting ready, getting steady, points to the lights. Here we go, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's lights on. Lights off, we're underway. It's a great stuff from Ronnie Harris at P3. Luke Fitchett as well gets away really well. 3 wide into turn 1, but it's Ethan Sparks who gets away. Looks like it was Josh Williams who massively lost out there, but it's Ethan Sparks who leads from Ronnie Harris with a great start from P3 in the grid. I think it's Luke Fitchett who's running in P3 at the moment as well. So it's Sparks, yeah it is, so it's Sparks from Ronnie Harris, from Luke Fitchett up to 3rd from 6th, and a bit of great start from him. But Ethan Sparks with the lead once again from pole position.
Yeah, Ethan Sparks is going to replicate his race win earlier today. He's got one. Oh, we see a little wobble there from the rear end as the yellow flags are out in the background. Henry McCARTNEY not got the best start to the race, down in 4th place, I believe. As you see, someone's crashed the 41 bike
that's
of
Noah
Noah.
Guillory. Yeah, Noah Guillory, who was just out in the Extreme 200s. Looks to be okay, but problems with the bikes as we carry on anyway. Lap 2, Ethan Sparks still leading, and again looks like it's nose to tail for the top 5, the top 6. Ethan Sparks sets a 44 on his first lap. Very, very competitive indeed. The track has been getting quick all day. This is the fastest that the riders have had the track. There is Noah Guillory, seems to have problems getting going. Oh, the front fairing seems to be broken, so that'll be that for Noah Guillory as the remainder of the riders. Look how close they are coming down. That's Luke Fitchett having a look on Ronnie Harris to the inside. I don't think he's going to be able to go no earlier on the brakes. Marco Holt also having a look up the inside of someone. I believe that might be Josh Williams he was having a look on, but no, doesn't make the move. So Marco Holt on McCARTNEY, sorry. So Marco Holt with a lot of pace at the moment. Samuel MUNSON, fastest lap of the race, they're down in P6. So these top 5, 7 it would seem, they're very, very close, and the 8 and 9 as well, close behind. Looks like it's going to be a very, very tense race. 10 laps still to go. Yeah,
it looks like it's going to be a tense race. We can already see the train of riders starting to form, which we see them race 2 today. It's looking very, very similar with Ethan Sparks in lead, Ronnie Harris in 2nd, and Henry McCARTNEY now into 4th place with what's to be...
here we go, a bit of a move there. Marco Holt was trying to get up into 4th, McCartney's in 3rd. Marco Holt, Blake Wilson close behind in 5th as well. It looks like it's going to be much of the same as we had in race 2, just tense racing. Will they, won't they go for the move? Can they make the move again? Everyone is so close in terms of pace. 42.3 best lap at the moment. Of course, the record lap time, a second faster than that in the MiniGP 70 set by Bailey Stewart Campbell back in 2019. 41.314, and again just look at them. They all just like synchronise some of the way that they just dart through the corner all together. It's brilliant stuff, and it's still Ethan Sparks leading this way, still Luke Fitch having a look, still Marco Holt having a look into the final corner, and still nothing comes of it.
Yeah, Marco Holt is looking at that final corner multiple times now, potentially line up a move on Henry McCARTNEY. He's going to be wanting to try to get past as soon as he can, because as we know, it's very difficult to pass on these MiniGP 70s around this track.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, nose to tail is the order that all the riders are in at the moment. Ronnie Harris with that great start. Luke FITCHETT with an even better start from 6th to 3rd off the grid. Marco Holt still pushing hard. Ronnie Harris still pushing hard. Hayden McCARTNEY still pushing hard as well. Looks like Luke FITCHETT having a few transponder issues. But he is currently running P3 on track as it stands. And again, Luke FITCHETT looking to the inside of Ronnie Harris. Mark Holt looking to the outside of Henry McCARTNEY, trying to sweep around the outside. Can Mark Holt get it done? That is a great move by Marco Holt. Up to P4 he moves on Henry McCARTNEY. Great stuff. Marco Holt learned from his mistakes. The inside wasn't working, so he sweeps around the outside. And the 50s vice champion from last year sets his sights forward and sets his sight on Luke FITCHETT in 3rd place.
Yeah, he certainly is. Marco Holt is feeling great right now. As we said, the MiniGP lap record holder now. He knows how to ride faster around this circuit due to Luke FITCHETT showing him the way around in race 2 in the MiniGP. Ethan Sparks still leads the way with 7 laps to go. He's trying his hardest to break away from this pack, but it's impossible in this MiniGP.
There goes
70.
Marco Holt again, round the outside with Luke FITCHETT. He's done it again. Marco Holt onto the gravel a little bit. Can he get it done into turn 1? Ethan Sparks still leading the way. Did Marco Holt get past Luke FITCHETT? Yes, he did. Marco Holt, as you said, he's learned from Luke FITCHETT. He's got the lap record, and now he is absolutely flying. Look at him go from 5th to 3rd in 2 laps, and now he sets his sight ahead of some back market traffic having to squeeze through. I believe that's Hayden WIGHTMAN that they've just have to squeeze through. Now Marco Holt can focus his sights on Ronnie Harris. Ethan Sparks still under pressure as well as they come onto the back straight. There goes Marco Holt to the inside this time. Does he switch to the outside? No. Stays put. So for the time being, it's still there, but Marco Holt absolutely flying at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly is. Ethan Sparks still leads the way by just 2/10 of a second. There's absolutely nothing in it in any of these riders. Right now, it looks like the top 6 or 7 riders are in for a victory.
Yeah, very, very close with 5 laps to go. And in fact, Marco Holt again, very, very close to the back of Ronnie Harris. Almost touching wheels. Luke FITCHETT starting to lose and then fading away further behind. You've got riders like McCartney, MUNSON is starting just to fade just a little bit. MUNSON and Blake Wilson swapping places on that last lap. Now here we go. Oh my goodness me, Ethan Sparks. Noah Guillory didn't see him coming, and Ethan Sparks had to get well out of the way. And there goes Marco Holt with a switchback. Marco Holt goes to 2nd up the inside of Ronnie Harris. A fantastic move. And now Marco Holt sets his eyes on the lead. Brilliant stuff from Marco Holt. He is absolutely flying at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's just showing his confidence right now. The speed of these bikes is incredible. 100 miles per hour these bikes are capable of. These are extremely fast. As we see, Marco Holt's already right on the back of Ethan Sparks, piling on the pressure, but Ethan Sparks is no stranger to this pressure and he is used to it, and I do not think he's going to crack, so Marco Holt is going to have to find some way to get past.
But we've seen the pace that Marco Holt possesses in this race, and is he going to have another look into the final corner? No. Stays put for the time being, choosing to analyse the rider in front, choosing to see where his weaknesses are, and then he will go in for the kill. He's got so much pace, of course. Now he's got the lap record in, and he's just set a 42 dead as well. That's the fastest lap of anybody in this race. So Marco Holt is absolutely flying at the moment on that 58 machine. Just look at the pace that he's got compared to everyone else. He is so fast. And Ethan Sparks somehow not shaken up after that incident with the lap bike last time round as well. Noah Guillory just didn't see him coming, tried to get out of the way and went the wrong way. Now Marco Holt, will he be having a look this time with 3 laps to go? Has a look to the inside. Does he try and pull the switch back? No, he's staying firm on the inside. Nothing of it yet as they come round. It'll be 2 to go. This time by Ethan Sparks with a bit of a better drive off of the corner. There is the 2 to go as they come round through the first chicane. So much pace carried by these bikes, these riders through there. The amount of bravery needed on these tight and twisty car tracks on what is frankly a Grand Prix racing bike through there. Marco Holt, a bit of a mistake on the brakes, he's lost a bit of time, but now he can set himself up for the move on Ethan Sparks.
Yeah, Marco Holt was slightly faster than Ethan Sparks that last lap. The top 8 being in the low 42s. It's such fast pace that all these riders are showing right now, but it looks like they're starting to bridge just a slight gap on Ronnie Harris in 3rd.
Marco Holt weaving this way and that way. He was thinking about going for a move, almost touching with not Ronnie Harris, Ethan Sparks. Final lap of the race. Here we go. One more tour for the Mini GP70s. Can Marco Holt do it? Can Ethan Sparks hold on? Your reigning champion versus the vice champion of the 50s. How is this going to unfold? Marco Holt, we know he's got the pace. He's got the fastest lap of the race. He set a lap record earlier today as Joshua Williams actually takes that fastest lap a bit wide out of the hairpin, but actually giving the momentum through these sweeping S's. It's going to have to be a dive into the final corner, whether it's round the outside or the inside, who knows? Ethan Sparks has got one corner to go. Can Marco Holt do it? Coming down the back straight, he's going to be close enough. Will he be on the brakes? No, he's not. It's going to be Ethan Sparks. Unless Marco Holt can poke a nose. No, Ethan Sparks manages to hold on and makes it a second victory in the Mini GP70s. Brilliant stuff, but Marco Holt take a bow after a fantastic ride, but it's Ethan Sparks who holds on to take the victory with a brilliant ride. 2 from 3 after what has been a dramatic weekend for the reigning champion. Ethan Sparks takes the victory with a great ride, but you've got to give it to Marco Holt. When he turned it on, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, he certainly did. Marco Holt punching the air across the line. He's happy with that. There's nothing to be disappointed about. His second place, it was an incredible ride from him, and on that final lap, Joshua Williams setting the fastest lap with a 41.7 in 7th place. It just really proves how much talent is in this class, and there's absolutely nothing separating them. But Ethan Sparks, once again, didn't let the pressure get to him, and he just shown his class today in the final race.
Yeah, brilliant stuff there from Ethan Sparks, taking the victory with 1.5 tenths of a second from Marco Holt in P2. A great win there for Sparks. Holt with a great ride from 5th on the grid, but just unable to get into that top place position. Ronnie Harris brought it home in P3 with Henry McCARTNEY in 4th. Samuel MUNSON and Blake Wilson were 5th and 6th. Joshua Williams, the fastest lap of the race on the final lap, in 7th with Harry PAINE, Ollie SIMS and Ruben BRAY rounding out the top 10. That concludes the final race for this round of the 70s. A great race there to conclude the LS2 Helmets Mini GP70s British Championship.